All right, so it is another big interview on the 947 Top 40, powered by CTM. And today, chatting to an incredible producer, songwriter, singer, performer. And everyone is so excited. I think Twitter almost broke when everyone found out that JP Cooper is coming to South Africa. JP Cooper, how are you doing, my bro?
I'm very, very good. Thank you. Yeah, it's been amazing to feel the love from out there. So I'm very excited to be getting into these conversations and, of course, getting ready to
Yeah.
come out and see you all.
Yeah, I mean, we probably need to make you an honorary South African at this point because while I was, every time, literally, when I'm doing searches, that sort of thing, one of the questions that always comes up is JP Cooper South African? Does this
Wow.
sort of stuff almost, take you by surprise, given starting your career all those years back and now internationally you're acclaimed and everyone, I mean, South Africans really think that you are from here.
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard that. So that's
Yeah.
interesting. I feel a little bit like Sugar Man. Um, I'm kind of all of a sudden there's just this area that have picked up on,
Yeah.
particularly, it seemed like it was one of my songs to begin with. And it's really interesting because that song I wrote it years ago. It was one of the first songs I wrote when I decided to become a solo artist. I used to sing in bands
Yes.
before that. And I knew it was special at the time, but it's amazing how songs can have this new rebirth of life so many years after the
Mm,
beginning of it. And it's beautiful to see you guys, feeling it.
yeah.
I'm just blessed. I feel very much like a regular guy, and especially since lockdown. And I've been doing a bit of touring the last couple of years, but it I live a very normal life. So it's
Yeah.
always a bit of a
Yeah.
surprise to find that people are excited about little old me doing my little old songs and coming out to see you. So yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more than little old you right now because you're quite big. But interesting, you mentioned lockdown over there, and it's something I actually like to ask artists because everyone dealt with the lockdown situation very differently. I mean, I know obviously in England the lockdown may have been a little bit more intense than other places. How did
Mm.
lockdown change your creative process? How it is that you approach your music? Did you have more time to record? What was JP Cooper doing when we weren't allowed to do anything?
So I obviously I always feel bad because lockdown created a very necessary mental space for me to
Right.
go into. I think I was in a weird place with how I felt about my career, how I felt about creating music. And I kind of realized that lockdown happened, and I was like, I'm not missing going to work. What's going on? Like, I don't miss touring, I don't miss writing, I don't miss. And I
Wow.
think I kind of thought, what's going on? Like, maybe I don't like my job. And it gave me a minute to reassess why I wasn't as connected with it. So it was really interesting. And I spent most of it just sat by myself at the piano when it came to writing. I didn't really do many Zoom sessions or anything like that. So it
Yeah.
was nice to really go back into just my own, kind of following my own nose, really. Not no influence from the label, no influence from anywhere really, from the scene. It was like
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, and I guess in a way, I'd already kind of finished writing my second album, so that was almost the beginning of writing for this next record.
Yeah.
Um, so it was nice to have that time to go, okay, hold on a minute, because I don't think many people have that time in life to sort of take stock on, am I actually happy? Am I fulfilled in this? Because once you're on the treadmill, especially if you've got kids at home and it's just go, 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 and you never actually stop. So, always being someone to search for silver linings, that was a huge one for me. So yeah, I did that and I made a baby. A lot of people did that.
Congratulations.
Yeah, a lot of people
Yeah.
did that during lockdown. It was planned. It wasn't one of those we just stuck at home all the time. So, but yeah, I had a beautiful little boy. My wife, she had quite a rough pregnancy actually, so it was actually another blessing to actually be able to be around. So I kind of just submitted to the situation. I think a lot of people, it was really strange how everybody just kind of went, okay, I
Yeah.
guess this is a new normal. Um, so yeah, but it's nice to be coming out of it now, and finally things are starting to get back to normal, and I guess I'm climbing out of the pit that COVID made. So it's nice to be coming out and getting back around the world again. So Yeah,
Yeah.
it was an interesting time.
Very interesting. Now, you had mentioned earlier that you were part of a couple of bands, and I know with your background, you had actually studied music back in the early 2000s.
Mm.
Now, I want to actually, it's almost like a two-part question because I'd like to know how it is that your roots have shaped who you are today. Given that you studied music, you've been part of a band, and now you're a solo act. So, how do you feel like, your history and your beginnings have shaped who you have become as an artist today?
So the studying music part, I kind of take with a pinch of salt because
Mm,
I just wanted to sing in bands. So when it came to like doing my diligence and learning the ABCs,
yeah.
I didn't really do that. I went to a college, but it was like an access course. So it was amazing for meeting people. We got free rehearsal time. So I was like, this is perfect. When it came to actually getting my head in books, I was never great with that. And that's why I'm trying to catch up now because I've always been a feeler. Yeah, I'm kind of feel my way through but
Yeah.
now I'm realizing more and more the importance of understanding the fundamentals. But
Uh,
um yeah, I guess I grew up in Manchester. Manchester was an amazing place for music. I kind of grew up 90s, noughties. So
yes.
around that time, Manchester was a huge place on the map for music. There was a lot of bands,
Mm,
people buying guitars, playing music. So it was always a good place to kind of cut my teeth. There was a lot more independent venues then. A lot of them are shut down now, which is a shame. But for myself, it was the perfect situation um, for getting around and meeting people and trying out
yeah.
those first few performances with thank God there was no cameras or TikTok or Instagram or any of that around. I was lucky enough to come up in a generation where I could make my mistakes without feeling like everything was going to be broadcast everywhere. So
Mm,
that was a beautiful thing. But I think it was always been a case of I guess a relentless pursuit of being a creative. I mean, my dad was a painter. His dad was a painter. My mum was a painter. All of my family were visual artists, and I grew up seeing that um, as just a way of life. It was very, very, very normal. It was a way of dealing with your problems. It was a way of moving forward. It wasn't a financial thing. Um, but it was something that I saw as normal. So I think little by little, it was a seek and you shall find kind of thing. I did a lot of searching, and I'm still searching, and it's a beautiful thing.
I wanted to get to this. I actually first discovered your music on Love Island, funny enough. I think it must have been around 2016, if I'm not mistaken. It was
Wow.
the acoustic version of Need Tonight.
Okay.
And all I remember from that moment is that it was one of the rough scenes and it was really heartbreaking. I went back and researched the lyrics, was listening to the song, and something just resonated. Then I started listening to more and more of your music. And, from a songwriting perspective, because that's really what gripped me out of your voice and the incredible talent. How important is that for an artist like you? What you're putting on paper.
Oh, it's everything. Before I started writing songs, I used to just love to write. So in school,
Ah,
my favorite thing, even in primary school, that the teacher would say, all right, you can write about anything you want. We're just going to do creative writing. So I loved writing stories. So that really matters to me. I think, yeah, I think digging into those situations, them old experiences. So Need You Tonight was written. I'll be telling all these stories when I come out and play. But Need You Tonight was it was I used to work in a nightclub in Manchester. It's called Fifth Avenue. It was an indie music nightclub. It played all the Manchester music. And it was amazing. And so the thing about Manchester is it's a big enough city to get to know people, but it's very small.
yeah.
So it's great for meeting people, but it's not great for splitting up with people. So,
Oh,
so it's I worked in this nightclub. I'd recently ended a relationship with this girl and I wasn't too happy about it. I was a bit heartbroken about it. And this one night, this girl comes in and she's having the best time. She's dancing with everybody, and I had to stand around and watch.
Oh,
And that's where that story came from. And obviously, I'm over it. I'm married now. I got kids. It's all good. But
yeah.
but yeah, I like delving into those old feelings and trying to just trying to recapture it because luckily I'm not, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who are going through a similar thing now. And I just think it's beautiful sharing these things with people, and
Yeah.
when it does resonate on such a level. And sometimes it's really skin deep stuff as well. It doesn't have to be this deep.
Mm,
Sometimes it's just a fun conversation.
yeah.
But I love it. I absolutely love that. I mean, everybody says melody is king, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not the most important thing to me.
Love that. Now, if we fast forward to 2016, and now you're collaborating with Jonas Blue, who at the time was also relatively unknown as well here in South Africa, at the very
Uh,
least. That Perfect Strangers just blew up,
yep.
completely blew up. It was number one on our charts here, all over the country, so many places around the world. What was that like for you? Because you'd mentioned earlier that you're just a guy. You are just JP Cooper, and now everybody's attention is focused on who is that guy? He's really, really good. There was the dance version, there was the acoustic version. I mean, that was a massive hit. So, how did that change things for you?
Massively. So I didn't originally plan on singing that song. I wrote the thing. So Jonas sent me the track
Yeah,
and said, "Can you write something to this?" Now it was very, very different from anything I'd ever done before.
yeah,
I, I wrote the thing. I didn't spend much time on it. I thought, let me just have a try. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Sent it to him. He loved it. We tweaked
yeah,
it a little bit. I recorded the thing, and I sent it to him. And I thought, brilliant. They love it. They'll find a singer. Um, and then one of the guys from the record label called me in, and he said, "Listen, Jonas really wants you to stay on the track. I know you might feel some kind of way about this because you're this guitar artist guy,
yeah.
but let's have a talk." And anyway, we sat down, and I decided that, you know what, I'm about to try and launch my career. I might as well have as many things going on as possible. And I
Mm.
thought, the worst case scenario is my few fans that love what I do at this point will be like, "What the hell is JP doing?" And the song will not do anything, or it'll be a huge smash, and everyone will just be happy to finally hear me on the radio. And luckily, for the most part, that was the situation. But it still took me a while because the first time I actually met Jonas, I recorded it beforehand. So the first time I actually met him was we did this big MTV performance in front of like 40,000 people. And
Wow.
all of my life, I've been the guy, "Hi guys, I'm JP. These are my songs. I'm gonna."
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm stood with a microphone and a DJ behind me in front of 40,000 people going, "I don't know what to do with my arms and legs. I just stand here and sing?" So it was a bit of a baptism of fire.
So we the last album we released was She, and that
Mm.
was last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And
Yep.
before I get to that, I want to get to the covers. You are just, I mean, you're brilliant with your own writing, your own songs production, but you also have just got something where you can take someone else's work and make it special. I mean, did Everything I Wanted, a Dua Lipa cover, I think I remember. How do you decide on songs you're going to cover? Inspiration thing, or you hear something you like that. Let me see what it would sound like if I did.
Some of the best singers are people who go and they just sing at weddings, and they sing like all of the covers, and they do all of the Bruno Mars and all of this stuff, and they're incredible. And I always say, if I had to do that, I would be exposed completely, because there are things I do very, very well, and I have weak spots, serious weak spots. So I guess with the covers, it's a case of I think I could have a crack at that, and I think I could
Mm.
put a twist of my own emotion on it. And so I have to feel like I can do it justice. There are certain artists that maybe I wouldn't touch, even though I said that about Lauryn Hill, because I thought I'd never touch her because she's just so good. But I was like, let me have a try. I've had such a relationship with this recording. But yeah, I guess it's a case of, do I feel like I can put my own little something on this?
All right. Now, look, we've got to wrap it up, but
Mhm.
let's get to the upcoming album. What are we expecting, on the new album, material-wise? Maybe if you've worked with any collaborators, you can let us in on. And what are we expecting in South Africa? I think we've got just about a month to go until you hit the shores.
Yeah, so I guess with the album, I am deep into recording it now. I think it's going to be a very different record sonically. A lot
Okay.
more a lot more organic. I've worked with a band throughout all of it, which is actually the first time I've done that for an album. I'm making it all with the same producer, which is again, it's another thing that I've never done. So it's very
Mm.
much I am in this, I'm finishing these interviews this morning and I'm going straight to the studio and it's been like this day in, day out. So I feel like my DNA is all over this record, whereas some of the other ones, I've outsourced a bit, a lot, and it's been amazing. But this one, I
Mm.
kind of feel like I've got to this point in my life where I've graduated, and it's time to kind of go, okay, this is your thing. So, and oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. But let's finish on South Africa. So yeah, we're very, very excited. Obviously, we didn't know what to expect. We were like, well, let's put on these shows. We don't know if anyone's going to come. So we're coming out. We're probably doing a bit more of a stripped back, intimate thing. I've been doing a lot of that since coming out of lockdown, is trying to just connect with the people. I think one of the things that I found that I don't think I was put here to kind of be an entertainer. I think I was put here to kind of open people up and get into a room and connect with people. So that's something, I've never been to South Africa. So I'm really excited to come in and just feeling that energy and just being with you. It's so easy to get caught up in doing the job and forgetting that actually we're really just here to connect with one another. So
Yeah.
so I guess that's what to expect.
We absolutely cannot wait to have you. I love the fact that you mentioned the intimate vibe because your artistry is going to shine through, and that's what your fans know and love you for as well.
Mhm.
So, yeah, thank you so much for your time as well. This was really, really lovely
Pleasure.
chatting to
Great
you.
to speak to you.
And yeah, we'll see you when you're down here in South Africa.
Look
Thank you
forward
so
to it.
much.
All right, take care, buddy.
The 947 Top 40 with Zweli.
You know I love it. Powered by CTM on 947.